A new study from Kerala reveals that nearly 70% of parents use mobile phones to feed their children, and that almost 9 among 10 toddlers are exposed to screens every day despite pediatric warnings. Experts say that this is not about a distraction at mealtime but a host of developmental issues that may occur. Poor eating habits also that could develop, and emotional disconnect. These are real red flags that doctors say they've seen over the years and advise parents strictly not to show screens to children below 2 years of age. But it seems like it's almost become a habit, especially in Kerala, 70% of women showing screens to their children while feeding them. The study conducted by pediatric researchers in Kerala paints quite a worrying picture of digital age parenting. Many parents admit using screens as a quick fix to make their children eat, stay calm or sleep, often unaware of the long-term consequences. Doctors warn that excessive screen time at an early age can impair speech, delay social skills and even affect brain development. According to global pediatric guidelines, children below 2 years of age should have zero screen time, zero exposure to TV, mobile phones, any kind of screen. In fact, after 2 years of age, it should be limited and highly supervised until they're maybe in their teens. But in modern homes, the phone is fast replacing the storybook. That's what we see. Hardly any storybooks. You have mobile phones doing the job, and meals all being fed while they're watching something, barely paying any focus to what they're eating, enjoying their meal. We wonder if that's happening too. Kids don't even speak about their likes or dislikes at that age. So what exactly are parents pushing their children into? Experts say it's time that parents now look up, quite literally. This is a crisis, is what the doctors say. How do you wean off parents from ensuring that they don't show, wean off mobile phones and TVs from children, ensuring that they are fed without screens? Our guests and experts joining us for a little more clarity. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairperson, Nephron Clinic. We also have Dr. Vandana, clinical psychologist, WeCope. Thanks both of you for joining us. Dr. Vandana, if I could start with you as a psychologist, what do you say on children watching screen time, getting screen time at that age? What really happens? Psychologically, we believe that they become disconnected, they don't develop good speech at that age. Give us the severity of it.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to place on records that it is not only children. When the mother is pregnant itself, that she should be away from the mobile phone. That's the first thing that she needs to follow. Second thing is definitely 0 to 2 years, no screen should be allowed, because it leads to a lot of cognitive delay in the development, in terms of speech development, in terms of not only replacing a storybook, but replacing a human touch and human emotion altogether. So the child's cognitive development overall gets affected and there's a delay in the development. Third, there is a lot of passive way of communication that develops because the active socialization is not involved, and then that leads to a lot of difficulty at the school level itself, because the child really cannot cope up with people when they are not introduced that socialization at home. So this is one aspect that is affecting. And second thing is there's already very less people around, and you are replacing that with a mobile phone leads to a lot of other impulsivity related issues in the children.
Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, how much is too much? Even little screen time is bad? And what are the first signs of harm you see that we should spot? Sir, you need to unmute yourself, please.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I think this is the fallout of wrong parenting of this modern age. To have 89% of kids in one study in one state in India under the age of 2 using a cell phone or a smartphone or screen time, 69% of children being subjected to this screen time while being fed. Now, what does this actually do? there is a delayed or loss of cognitive development. There is a delay in speech. These kind of children later on develop with significant amount of handwriting disability. They have memory and attention span disorders. They are unable to deal with social behavior and social skills. And these developmental delays can also cause attention deficit, anxiety, antisocial behavior, and even give postural and early in life spinal problems, because most of these children are lying in abnormal positions in bed or in a couch, being fed or watching the screen time. Sleep disturbances, obesity, restlessness, bright lights can affect an immature developing brain. Loud sounds can affect the brain, and both the eyes and the hearing can be involved. But apart from this, these kids grow up suboptimally. And when I say suboptimally, there is something which we call as a brain hormonal cytokine axis. All these stimulants to a young developing and immature brain is a stress stimulus which releases hormones such as cortisol. Why is screen time so addictive across all age groups? Because it stimulates 4 reward hormones, which are dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. That's why when this release happens, the brain wants more of the screen time. Therefore, the addiction. Even 30 minutes of screen time every day, even 5 hours, 5 times in a week, causes cognitive defects up to 69%. These are published international data. There was the largest study done in Stanford recently, in which 35,000 students were made to keep away from the screen time for 6 months, and they have established a 22% enhancement of cognitive development. So very clearly, under the age of 2, this is the big no-no. Between 2 and 5, very, very limited under supervision. Be careful. Your child is not an adult and is unable to cope with so many stresses which you are subjecting to because of parental convenience.
You know, Dr. Vandana, we have a school in Bangalore, and I know of one child who's addicted to his phone, and he's roughly around the age of 10, 12. And if you pull the phone away from him, he turns violent, and the parents are so worried. They're worried that they could, for all you know, you don't know what tendencies he could develop if you keep the phone away for too long. So they eventually succumb and give the phone back. And I'm sure this has been going on for years, which is why he's so obsessed that he can't do without it. What's the word of advice would you give to parents who are looking at their children now so addicted? What can they do really?
See, definitely, as I said, it leads to a lot of behavioral issues. As I said, first it leads to cognitive delay, then it leads to a lot of behavioral problems, attention deficit and learning related disorders, and finally it leads to addiction, where, it happens because the child really don't know how to communicate, and then they just glued to one aspect of called screen time, and that is their virtual world. Now, if you pull it out, then that's when there's a lot of adamancy, and as sir mentioned, it may even lead to a lot of antisocial behavior. So first place, parents should not introduce itself at the first place. Then they have to replace it with some other alternative habits. Maybe see, we are in an era where we cannot be without phone. But at the same time, it is not like that you need to be completely with it all the time. Instead of introducing with alternative aspects, which parents should really understand, because the implications of it.
It's quite, it's expensive. You can't, it's not at the cost of the child's
and then
life.
Later doing it and repairing it becomes very, very difficult.
So early on, the better. A final word, Mr. Bagai, best way to wean off children from mobile phones.
This is a very famous song, a rock song during our era. I may be slightly older to both of you all. It's called, it goes as, we are prisoners of our own device. And it was sung by who? The real bottom line is that we need more time with the children, not screen time. Children should read books, not be on Facebook. Children need to be outdoor playing rather than spending time on the screen. Children need to interact with other children, other human beings, see the real world rather than living in a virtual and fantasy world.
All right. Thank you both of you for joining us. I really appreciate your time and expertise. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me take you through all our top stories on day tonight. Let's start with Our top story here on Haryana sanitation workers being asked to prove whether they are on their periods. Very sad story, but one that I thought was important to take as our top story here. Imagine having to prove that you're menstruating to your employer. Imagine you have to tell your employer, literally prove it to your employer that you are on your periods. It's painful as it is to even say it, but that's exactly what happened in Haryana's Rohtak. At Maharshi Dayanand University, women sanitation workers say that their supervisors forced them to remove their clothes to verify if they were on their periods, to check if they're wearing their pads. This horrifying act was allegedly ordered after the woman asked for short breaks. In fact, a woman said she wanted a break because of her menstruating cycle, something any workplace will basically grant with sensitivity. They should have ideally understood, but instead what they decided was to humiliate her. A female guard allegedly told the lady that she wanted to inspect her and also take photographs of the pad to see whether they were really menstruating. This order was that came allegedly from senior officials. When one woman refused to do it, that's when the outrage began, because they tried to coerce her, and then all the sanitation workers, women, came together condemning it, and this became a public issue. Now it's out in the media with them speaking up openly. Sanitation workers, of course, they covered the identity because they could be targeted. But this is a sad story. Following the uproar, the university has suspended Assistant Sham Sundar and supervisors Vinod Huda and Vitendra. An FIR has also been registered, and Rohtak SP Surendra Bhoria says strict action will also follow. It's appalling that in 2025, women still have to fight for basic dignity at work. Menstrual cycles are already difficult physically and emotionally. Many corporates now are already giving period leaves to make workplaces more humane. But for women sanitation workers whose jobs are among the hardest and most laborious, to be treated this way shows the deep-rooted insensitivity that still runs in our system. Let's hear it from those affected women.
जिसको दिक्कत है आ जाओ और चेक करवा के और फिर चले जाना तुम कि भाई आपको ये लेडीज प्रॉब्लम मंथली प्रॉब्लम है या नहीं है, हम चेक करेंगे। ऊपर से मेरे को ऑर्डर आया है, मेरे को जवाब देना है कि आप आओ और पहले आके यहाँ पे हमारे पास लेडीज भी हैं और चेक करवा के जाओ और फिर उसके बाद ही हम आपको जाने देंगे। तो मैं बोले आप कहना चेक करवा के जाओ। हम चेक कराने के लिए हमारे साथ दो बहन और थी, तो दोनों बहनों ने हमने चेक करा। चेक करके मैंने उनको सर आए को बोले सर ठीक बोल रही हूँ। तो सर फिर मैं दोबारा उसके पास गई, हमारे सुपरवाइजर के पास, सर उसके हमारे नंबर दे दो यार के, और हम उसको फोटो भेज देते हैं।
All right, cutting across to VIP behavior in Karnataka on full display yet again. No amount of naming, shaming or outrage seems to be teaching any lesson to VIP brats. In Karnataka, the son of a BJP leader has been caught on camera assaulting a toll booth worker simply because he was asked to pay the toll fees. The accused, Samarth Gowda Patil, son of BJP leader Viju Gowda Patil, was travelling with his friends on the Vijaypura-Kalaburgi highway when his car was stopped at the Kanoli toll plaza, as like they do with every other vehicle. Instead of paying, Samarth Gowda decided to step out of the car, get into the toll booth and snapped at the staffer, shouting, "Do you know who I am?" When the operator asked which Viju Gowda, the argument turned violent. That's when he used, there you have it, he assaulted the toll booth worker. The video shows Samarth Gowda hitting and abusing the toll worker before others rushed to stop him. The victim, Sangappa, suffered facial injuries. He was taken to the hospital as well. Despite the viral video here, sad part is that the police say no official complaint has been filed, that someone else has to file a complaint. Why should the police not take suo motu cognizance here? Well, but cops say inquiry is underway. BJP leader Viju Gowda Patil, father of this man, says he apologizes on behalf of his son if his son is wrong. Congress has slammed the BJP in Karnataka, calling it another example of power breeding arrogance. Well, it only forces us to wonder how many times this man may have gone past the toll for free for him to feel so entitled. Right, in West Bengal, a police officer meant to protect women now is delivering moral lectures instead. In West Bengal, a senior cop's sexist remark in West Bengal has ignited outrage and disbelief. Ranaghat Additional SP Laltu Haldar was caught on camera saying that he felt ashamed to see young women drinking, and particularly cited last year's Kali Puja, where he says it was so shameful to see women drinking there. He says boys will do wrong things, but it's the woman's job to stop them. This is a police officer. Let's hear it.
আপনাদের যে প্রসেসন যে যেমন লাস্ট কালী পূজায় মানে বলতে আমার লজ্জা করছে যে মেয়েরা ইরান থেকে এসডিপিও আছে দেখছে ইয়ার মেয়ে দাঁড়িয়ে দাঁড়িয়ে এখানে সব থেকে প্রসেসনের ভিড় ছিল মেয়েদের এবং মদ খাওয়ার হার সব থেকে মেয়েদের দাঁড়িয়ে দাঁড়িয়ে মদ খাচ্ছে। এটা যদি শোভাযাত্রা শোভা করেন আমি এই নিন্দা করি এই শোভাযাত্রা, আর বাড়ির মেয়েরা যদি এইরকম হয়ে যায় তো সমাজের উচ্ছন্নে চলে গেল।
Well, there you have it. His comments loaded with victim blaming, moral policing. It's gone now viral, drawing sharp criticism from women's groups, citizens, rights activists. Many have called the remarks aggressive and dangerous, especially coming from someone who's tasked with ensuring women's safety. What's worse, no action has been taken. These words came at a time when West Bengal already has a spate of instances where and surge of crimes against women. The latest being the brutal Durgapur MBBS student gang rape. A string of other instances that have happened in West Bengal, and at a time like that, you have a police officer in West Bengal saying this, and from a state which is governed by a woman. Mamata Banerjee has the most number of women MPs, women leaders in her party, and here you have a cop in her state speaking in this fashion. The police's job is to uphold the law, not judge women of how they choose to live their lives. All right, in Chennai has shown how every other city every other city has to do. It's a precedent. In fact, the Greater Chennai Corporation has set precedent. It's now decided to ensure all pet dogs are registered, and if you don't register, you have to pay a fine. Starting November 24th, pet owners in Chennai must have valid license for their pets, or you'll have to cough up 5,000 rupees is fine. This comes after mounting complaints where dogs are off leash in parks, pet waste is on the road, growing number of unregistered pets across neighborhoods, and pet bites as well, dog bites from pets. The civic body says the new rule isn't about trying to corner the pet owners. It's basically just to ensure that there's some kind of accountability. And under Section 292 of the Chennai City Municipal Corporation Act, every pet within city limits must now be registered and licensed. The system has existed online though for a year, but hardly few of them signed up. People didn't bother to do so. Now you have no choice, else you'll have to pay 5,000 rupees. The rules are simple. Pets must be vaccinated. They must be sterilized, always on a leash and a muzzle in public. Owners must clean up after their pets, or they'll have to pay that fine, 5,000 rupees for unlicensed pets and 500 rupees for walking without a leash or a muzzle. Officials are gearing up for door-to-door checks as well next month. Chennai's move, well, it's certainly a step forward. It shows that pet owners also must take responsibility with the growing number of dog bites coming from pet dogs, and this is happening in most parts of the country. All we could say is hopefully other Indian cities adopt these rules. All right, Zubin Garg. It's been a little over a month and a half. Zubin Garg died. Yet Assam is still mourning, even today. The grief turned into a bit of celebration of his legacy today. It was special today. Zubin's final film, Roy Rai Binale, has hit theatres, and across Assam, it's an emotional homecoming. Fans filled cinema halls, and they watched the movie with so much love and admiration for him, and also to bid the final goodbye. That movie was released across 91 screens in the Northeast, and for the first time in cities like Pune, Jaipur, Lucknow, Kochi, it's seeing record-breaking shows and advanced bookings as well. In Guwahati alone, 179 shows a day. A response that was never seen before for an Assamese film. Directed by Rajesh Bhuyan, co-produced by Zubin himself and his wife Garima, Roy Rai Binale tells the story of a blind artist, a tale of resilience, pain, beauty. Many say that it mirrors Zubin's own life, his art born out of struggle and spirit. Every theatre has left one seat empty. That was a special, image that we saw there. Most of the theatres that played Zubin's movie left one seat empty with his photograph there. A silent tribute to the man who gave voice to an entire generation. The Assam government has announced that its GST share from the film will be donated to the Kala Guru Artist Foundation to nurture young talent, support flood victims and fund education and the underprivileged students. Most haunting image though, the film's final scene. We hear Zubin's character that is lying on a beach eerily reflects the real life passing of Zubin in Singapore. Fans call it his final message, a farewell written through art. For Assam, Roroi Binale is not just a release, it's a moment of remembrance and a collective heartbeat. Zubin Garg may be gone, but his voice lives on. Thanks very much for tuning in. Have a great night and a great weekend.
A resurgent India is racing towards the Viksit Bharat goal, braving global economic headwinds. Bulletproofing our economy from these uncertainties are our homegrown businesses. Powered by tech-led innovation, Indian entrepreneurs are truly scaling up, riding the next wave of disruption with AI and cloud to break into the big global league. TV9 Network in association with SAP presents Visionaries of Viksit Bharat, a series celebrating